sentenced to death by quartering, a brutal punishment involving public dismemberment.
All right, ladies and
December
gentlemen,
1825.
we are back again with another Epic History TV reaction.
Death of Emperor Alexander has thrown Russia into confusion. The line of succession had been secretly changed from his brother Constantine to a younger brother, Nicholas.
Constantine did not want that smoke in that last reaction that I did on that. I completely agree with him.
He struggles to assert his claim to the throne. A secret society of army officers prepares to make its move. Most are veterans of the wars against Napoleon. Now they want a political revolution in Russia, an end to autocratic government, and the abolition of serfdom. The fate of their revolution will be decided in a single day of chaos and violence on the streets of St. Petersburg. They will be known by the month of their uprising. The Decembrists.
The Decembrists! It's crazy how Russia doesn't really talk about these guys. Why doesn't Russia not talk about these guys that much? Because I have people from Russia who watches my videos, right? Like 10% of my views come from Russia. So I would love to know that. Why doesn't Russia not talk about these guys? This video is
sponsored by MyHeritage.
I am poor. I am literally poor. I say this in all my reactions. I am poor. Go join my Patreon. Check out my Patreon. I just created a Patreon. I don't know if you will. Let's continue.
St. Petersburg.
All right. 1825.
The Decembrist Northern Society has its headquarters at the offices of the Russian-American Company, where one of its key members, Rylev, is a major shareholder.
I like that.
Decembrist leaders have been working feverishly day and night to put everything in place for a coup. Rylev is the chief organizer, despite being unwell. Before dawn, they learn that the new emperor has ordered all troops and officials in the capital to swear an oath of loyalty to him that morning. They must act immediately. Once the troops swear the oath, it will be too late. Most Decembrists are officers in the Lifeguards regiments, stationed in St. Petersburg.
Lifeguard.
They plan to tell them...
Lifeguard. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm thinking about like the swimmer, like the guy who saves people. Oh, my humor is so bad.
That Nicholas, known and disliked by the troops, is usurping the throne from his brother Constantine, to whom the soldiers swore an oath of loyalty just 17 days ago. There is no plan to involve the Russian people in their revolt. These young aristocrats fear that this would only lead to the bloody chaos of the French Revolution.
Wow. Wow. So they're doing... Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. A military revolt, not really like a populist revolt. Very interesting.
Instead, they will rely on their social connections and the unquestioning trust of the men under their command. They will then use these troops to see...
Unquestioning, man. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
He's control of the capital, the emperor, and the government. They will form 3 groups. The first will be led by Captain Alexander Yakubovich, a distinguished veteran of the Caucasus War with a reputation for courage. His men will seize the Winter Palace and secure Emperor Nicholas and his family. Some Decembrists want to keep the emperor prisoner, but Rylev secretly entrusts his assassination to 28-year-old Pyotr Kakhovsky, an officer recently retired due to ill health. As a cadet officer in the Lifeguards... That guy
looks like someone straight out of Assassin's Creed. Like, unironically, like his outfit and everything, like, I don't know, unironically gives me Assassin's Creed vibes.
Jaeger Regiment, Kakhovsky had been demoted for rudeness, debt, and laziness. He is a loner without friends or money, but dedicated to the cause of liberty, and imagines himself a slayer of tyrants.
Sounds like to me that he's just salty that he got demoted. He just wants a place of fame rather than the fact that he actually cares about liberty. It sounds more like that to me. Let's
A
continue.
second detachment will be commanded by 32-year-old Colonel Alexander Bulatov, a hero of the Napoleonic Wars and Relif's childhood friend. He's recruited just a few days before the revolt, as the Decembrists seek to involve more senior officers. His unit will seize the Peter and Paul fortress, which contains the city's arsenal and dominates the city center.
Very nice looking fortress.
Colonel Prince Sergei Trubetskoy has been appointed dictator, or leader of the coup. He is another officer of proven courage from a distinguished family. He will command the main force, expected to number nearly 10,000 men, which will assemble in Senate Square. Trubetskoy will then enter the Russian Senate and demand that it issues the Decembrists' manifesto to the Russian people. The document announced...
It's very interesting to me how these people are very, like, from kind of mostly like noble aristocratic background. And yet they're still revolting. It really goes to show you how life really was, even when the aristocrats has had enough of the Tsar.
This is the establishment of a new provisional government until elections can be held. The freedom of the press and of worship, equality before the law, the introduction of jury trials, and the abolition of serfdom and military settlements. Two well-known and respected politicians, Nikolai Mordvinov and Mikhail Speransky, would lead the new government to provide continuity and reassurance.
All right. Let's see. What are you made of? Damn, I'm trying to read this, but my Russian is not good enough yet. Oh man, freaking hell, dude. If I had time, I would actually like keep practicing my Russian. Freaking hell. Bro, look at my Duolingo streak. I don't know if you can see that. All right, 261 day streak. 261 Russian day streak on Duolingo. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, man. I said in my last reaction that I would definitely would love to learn Russian because I would like to visit Russia. Russia seems like a very cool place. I mean, it's the largest country in the world. How could that not be interesting? And because I would love to read Russian history because, frankly speaking, I don't trust the way how Western I don't trust the way how the West portrays Russian history. It's usually like twisted and whatnot. I don't like that. Like, I actually had Russians in my last Russian history reaction. I think it was the Decembrists. I was reading their comments. And the topics that they were telling me about, like, I've heard of it, but the way how the West portrays it is completely different from the way, like, what they were telling me. So I was like, oh, wow. That is something else. Yeah, man. Freaking hell. But eventually, I will, more or less complete my quest to learn Russian so that I can one day visit Russia and read Russian, history and learn Russian history much better. Let's continue.
The Decembrists, drawing on their military experience, have come up with a realistic plan to seize control of the Russian capital. But almost immediately, the conspiracy begins to unravel.
Okay. How does this unravel?
On a bitterly cold morning, Kakhovsky and Yakubovich come to Relev's apartments, where the Decembrists have been meeting. Kakhovsky has lost his nerve and is no longer willing to kill the emperor. At the last minute, Yakubovich has also...
Bruh. Bro, you were hyping this guy up, literally, I don't know, 4 minutes ago, because we're 7 minutes and 38 seconds.
So decided he cannot shed the blood of Russian soldiers, and refuses to lead troops against the Winter Palace.
Oh my
Bulatov, who
god,
is
are you
supposed to
kidding
lead his
me?
troops against the Peter and Paul fortress, does not even show up.
Nah. Nah, bro. He did not. He did not pull the classic. He pulled the classic. Don't show up. He's like, nah, bro. He's lucky too that there's no text messages, no emails, no calls. All he had to do was not show up.
The Decembrists are in a race against time. There are several Guards regiments in St. Petersburg. They must win over enough of them to secure the capital before the regime understands what's going on and moves against them. But they learn that the Senate and Preobrazhensky Life Guards have already sworn the oath of loyalty to Nicholas.
Oh dear.
This painting was based
dear.
on sketches made later by the Emperor himself. It shows the Preobrazhensky Life Guards 1st Battalion arriving at the Winter Palace that morning. It's an
Wow. The Emperor knew how to paint. Very nice paint. I love these
act of
paintings,
loyalty
man.
for which Nicholas will always be grateful.
I love the painting from Epic
A
History
battalion
TV.
of the Moscow Life Guards Regiment comes over to the Decembrists' cause, thanks to the efforts of Captains Shepin Rostovsky, Mikhail Bestuzhev, and his brother Alexander Bestuzhev. The regime is moving much faster than expected. Officers loyal to Nicholas, now aware of the unfolding coup, arrange for the Izmailovsky, Semyonovsky, and Pavlovsky Life Guards regiments, and the Life Guards Horse Regiment to swear the oath to Nicholas.
Oh, this is going terribly wrong. This is
700 men
not
of the
good.
Moscow Life Guards Regiment leave their barracks and march through the icy streets to Senate Square. Their rallying cry is, "For Constantine and Constitution."
Bro, Constantine doesn't even want to be Tsar. In the last reaction that we did, the man was terrified, and I can't blame him. Bro, Constantine don't want that smoke, man. Let's continue.
The men of the Moscow Life Guards Regiment.
Oh, Epic History TV is zooming in. Everybody knows when Epic History TV zooms in, that means that it's getting good. And he's zooming in like even further too.
Take position in Senate Square, near the famous bronze statue of Peter the Great. They are joined by several Decembrist leaders, including Rylev and Kakhovsky. Captain Alexander Bestuzhev ostentatiously sharpens his saber on the base of the statue. Officers and men look resplendent in full dress uniform. But Trubetskoy, the leader of the coup who is to present the Decembrist manifesto to the Senate, is nowhere to be seen, and the members of
Bro, they're all dipping. They're all dipping. Bro. No, bro. He ghosted. That's the word, he ghosted, man. He ghosted. Bro, he freaking ghosted, man.
the Senate have already gone home. Rylev leaves to find him. Crowds of spectators begin to gather around Senate Square. The general mood is one of support for the Decembrists. This watercolor was painted by Karl Ivanovich Coleman, an eyewitness, and is considered one of the most realistic depictions of the day.
Really?
Around noon, Count Mikhail Miloradovich, Governor General of St. Petersburg and a famous war hero, arrives in the square. He rides straight up.
How are people able to paint? Like, bro, your memory must have been really good for
to
this,
the
man.
Moscow Life Guards Regiment and asks, "Who among you was with me at Kulm, Lutzen, and Bautzen, recalling the great battles against Napoleon. He tells the men they have been lied to, that Constantine has renounced the throne, and they must swear the oath to Nicholas. In Trubetskoy's absence, Lieutenant Prince Eugen Abelensky becomes de facto leader of the Decembrists in Senate Square. He tells Miloradovich to leave, but the general ignores him. Abelensky tries...
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. This is getting really heated. I'm getting
to
goosebumps
prick
already.
the general's horse with a bayonet to drive him away, but accidentally stabs the general. Then Pyotr Kakhovsky steps forward and shoots Miloradovich at point-blank range.
Oh, dang!
The general, mortally wounded, is carried away by his horse. The Lifeguards
that's-
Grenadier Regiment and sailors of the Guard...
That's kind of sad, man. Imagine, like... Oh, come on, bro. You fought in all those Napoleonic battles and that's how you die? Oh, dude, that's actually tragic, man. What the hell?
declare for the Decembrists. They join the Moscow Lifeguards in Senate Square. The Decembrists are gathering a powerful, disciplined force of 3,000 troops in the heart of the Russian capital. But Trubetskoy has still not appeared, and there is little leadership. They stand and wait in the freezing cold, while the Emperor begins to mobilize his own forces.
Yeah, I was just about to say it, bro. There's no way that the freaking Tsar is just gonna stand there and just let this slide.
Unbeknownst to the men in Senate Square, Prince Sergei Trubetskoy had given up all hope of success early that morning, as soon as he heard that the Senate had sworn its oath to Nicholas. Possibly suffering some form of breakdown, he wanders around the city, at one point passing by Senate Square itself. His brilliant military record makes such behavior difficult to understand.
Mad. Bro, he went mad. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he went mad, but he did, you know, like, when you're at bottom of the barrel, right? You have nothing else to lose. I can't really, like, explain this. I haven't been in a situation like that, but I've been close to a situation like that. But, like, I get this reaction. I kind of sort of get this reaction. Like, trust me, bro. You would not understand until, like, you're in a similar situation like this, and your brain, trust me, bro, your brain will not think clearly. Believe me, your brain will not think clearly. Like, you will be a completely different person. Like, I've been in a similar situation like this where I've been close to, like, bottom of the barrel. Trust me, I have been close to a situation like this. Technically, I'm still in a crisis right now, but my brain is, like, thinking clearly. But when it, like, initially begins, bro, trust me, all sense, all logic, all of that, it just disappears, dude. I'm telling you. I can't even describe it because you have a normal brain that is functioning normally. All your chemicals, all your hormones, all of that is working properly. But guys, I'm telling you, this is why you see people going and just, like, freaking shooting up places, right? This is why some people will just go and just take a strap and just boom, boom, boom. Go up in a school, boom, boom, boom. Or public area, boom, boom, boom. I'm telling you, guys, when your brain is just not where it's supposed to be because you're bottom of the barrel, like, things aren't going your way, you would do a lot. You would do a lot of things you'd believe that you can't do. And you would act in the most uncanny, weird way to a person who has a normal brain. Believe me, y'all. So I completely get this reaction.
Decembrist later recalled, his absence had a decisive influence upon us and the soldiers too, For with few epaulets and no military titles, no one dared take command. Ryleyev, meanwhile, exhausted and sick, spends the day in a futile search for Trubetskoy before he is forced to retire to bed.
Wow. Oh my god, bro. Imagine. Bro, imagine having to retire to bed. You're planning one of the most important uprisings in Russian history. And you have to retire to bed.
The crowd is now several thousand strong, and their loyalties clearly lie with the Decembrists. Some policemen and patrols are even attacked by civilians. When Emperor Nicholas arrives, he and his entourage are pelted with sticks and stones.
So
but guards units loyal to the government are arriving at Senate Square in force. And take up positions surrounding the rebels. Soon they outnumber the Decembrists 3-1, though not all are willing to fire.
It's over. GG. GG. That's it. It's GG.
On their comrades. In fact, Isaac's bridge is deliberately obstructed by troops of the Finnish Life Guards Regiment, whose sympathies lie with the Decembrists. Others, such as General Orlov, are
so it's not as bad as it seems? Okay.
Outraged by the Decembrists' actions. He orders his guards cavalry to charge the rebels. His men are pelted with stones and timber thrown by the crowd, and the rebels stand firm. Some shots are fired, a few men are hit, and the cavalry withdraw. Several cavalry charges are made that afternoon, with no decisive outcome, and just a handful of casualties.
Damn, how can you charge in a dense area like that? How big is that area?
Still, no Decembrist officer takes charge of the situation. There seems to be no plan at all. It is -10°C, and their men have been standing motionless for hours. The commander of the Life Guards Grenadier Regiment, Colonel Nikolai Sturler, arrives to order his men back to barracks.
Bro, this...
Kakhovsky shoots him, inflicting another fatal wound. The Metropolitan...
This man is one shot, one kill. Bro, my man is one shot, one
Bishops
kill.
of St. Petersburg and Kiev approach the troops and tell them it is their Christian duty to swear the oath to Nicholas. But they are mocked and chased away. The emperor is deeply alarmed by the situation in Senate Square, though many comment on his calm demeanor.
Imagine getting mocked,
He later confides to his younger brother, "The most amazing thing about this story is that you and I were not shot."
Yeah. Especially that guy who's going around shooting everyone, is killing them. I'm actually shocked myself that he's not shot.
The short winter day is ending.
Bro, they're just standing
Nicholas
there.
fears that if the standoff continues into the night, the crowds will turn hostile. He now has 32 guns of the Guards' artillery at his disposal. He sends General Sukhozanet to tell the rebels to lay down their arms, or they will be fired upon. It's a bad choice of emissary. Sukhozanet is despised by the troops. They tell him to get lost. As dusk falls, the guns are wheeled forward.
What is going to happen? Like, how is this going to end?
The first volley is blank rounds. The next is fired over the heads of the rebel troops, but hits several people in the crowd. The troops stand firm.
Bro. Okay, nah. Me personally, I would just surrender. I am not about to get my legs blown off. Okay, I just made a Napoleonic Wars reaction video, in my chronological order. Nah. The amount of people who had their legs blown off. I would just surrender right now.
The next volley of grape shot is fired directly into their packed ranks. scores go down.
I respect the fact that
Under
they
this murderous
stood their
fire, the troops
ground.
break ranks and head out onto the frozen Neva River. Mikhail
Wow,
Bestujev
that's
tries to
awful.
organize them for an attack on the Peter and Paul fortress, little more than 1,000 meters away across the ice. But as they form up, they come under more artillery fire.
Oh, bloody hell.
Cannonballs smash the ice.
No.
Many drown.
Oh,
The rest escape
bloody
as best they
hell.
can.
Oh, that's so bad. That's such a massacre, man. In the icy river too. That's awful. That's so awful. That is so awful, man. No, freaking dude, that is such a way to die. Oh my gosh, dude.
After a standoff lasting several hours, the military
cold right
revolt has
now.
been ruthlessly crushed by Russia's new emperor.
Bro, I'm literally cold right now with AC on, man. Dude, so I'm like imagining like drowning in.
The official
hell
death
no.
toll is just 80. Eyewitnesses claim it is much higher. The Decembrist leaders, who all survived the bloodshed in Senate Square, are rounded up and arrested that night and the following day. The Decembrist uprising in
folded.
St. Petersburg is over.
They folded. This is
The
like
revolt in the south has yet to begin.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot about the South. Okay. Let's see what happens in Ukraine. I'm still trying to read that in my head, but I can kind of read it, sort of. All right. Ukraine.
13th December 1825. Tulchin, Ukraine. The day before the St. Petersburg revolt, Pavel Pestel, leading figure of the Southern Society, is denounced by one of his officers and arrested. The Southern
Right.
Society's plans for an uprising are thrown into chaos.
Of course it
Sergei
is.
Muravyov-Apostol
Not
takes
even
over as
surprised.
leader. He receives news of the disastrous uprising in St. Petersburg, but decides to go ahead with the planned rising in the south.
Why?
On the 29th of December,
Why?
he is arrested himself, but quickly freed by fellow officers.
Why would you? That's
The next
a sign
day,
to stop.
he leads two companies of the 29th Chernigov Regiment into Vasilkov, where they seize money, weapons, ammunition, and supplies. Three more
You
companies,
can't win. You can't win. The main one in the capital it's over. It's over. It's over. You can't win. Bruh. What is the point? I'm losing brain cells right now, right? Because I don't understand, why would you still launch an uprising like that?
more than 400 men join the rebels.
Especially when the main one got taken down already.
The next morning, a revolutionary manifesto, written by Muravyov-Apostol and Lieutenant Mikhail Bestujev-Ryumin, is read out to the troops. In the question and answer form of a religious catechism, the document calls for an uprising to end autocracy, serfdom, and conscription. Question: what does our holy law order the Russian people and army to do? Answer: to repent of our lengthy servitude and stand against tyranny and wickedness, vowing that in heaven and on earth there shall be only one emperor, Jesus Christ. By the 1st of January...
Technically, God, Jesus is the Son of God, but I get what he's saying.
Muravyov-Apostol leads a force of 17 officers and 1,100 men. He attempts to march on Zhytomyr to link up with units of the 8th Infantry Division, whose officers are sympathetic to the Decembrist cause. But his route is blocked by government forces. Then, on the 3rd of January, at Ustimovka, his force is intercepted by troops under General Geismar. Muraviev Apostol hopes the opposing troops will join him. Instead, they open fire with grape shot. Then the hussars charge. A few men are killed, but most quickly surrender. 895 men and 6 officers are taken prisoner,
So
including
underwhelming.
Muraviev
So
Apostol, who is
underwhelming.
badly wounded. His brother, Hippolyte, and another Decembrist officer, Anastasi Kuzmin, take their own lives to avoid capture.
Again,
The
pointless.
Decembrist uprising in the south is over.
Over. It's
Crushed
over.
in just 5 days.
There is no point. What a waste of men and time. Such a waste of time, man. Visa Maya. Is that Visa Maya Historia? Zaklujается Vedu. I'm trying to read this. I'm trying to see like how good I am at reading Russian words, because I'm still pretty bad at reading Russian words, because I can't learn new words in Russian unless I know like how they're like pronounced. Like I can't like look at them. I like pronounce them. I don't know, man. Like I said, I have long ways to go with my whole Russian learning, but I still want to see if I'm like improving, you know? I feel like I am kind of, because I don't know, like 100 days ago, I probably wouldn't be able to read like any of this. I'm like slowly improving, sort of. I hope. Well, let's continue. My whole story is in a few words. I love my fatherland passionately. I didn't get to read the whole quote, but okay. I think I got the
In
message.
St. Petersburg, the Decembrist leaders are interrogated by Emperor Nicholas in person before they are sent to the Peter and Paul fortress. The emperor gives instructions on how each prisoner is to be treated, whether they are to be kept in shackles and treated severely or more gently. He despises them all. Trubetskoy he describes as a repellent example of an ungrateful scoundrel. Nicholas sets up a commission to investigate the plot and its origins. 579 suspects are arrested and subjected to repeated interrogations, long periods of solitary confinement, hunger and cold, or feigned sympathy. Many confess freely, revealing details of secret societies and names of co-conspirators. A few resist defiantly. Colonel Bulat
Shout out to the people who did not snitch. I'm not about that whole like snitching. Oh, guys. Oh, he's a snitch. That's kind of cringe. Like that whole not snitching culture. That's kind of cringe, and a lot of times you unironically make it harder for officials to solve stuff like murder and like actual important stuff. But in a case like this, yeah, shout out to the people for not snitching.
Bulatov, who was to have led the attack on the Peter and Paul fortress, is so racked by guilt that he kills himself in his cell.
Ooh, I was not expecting that to happen. I was not expecting that to happen, man. God. Yeah, these people were not cut up for this.
There are no trials as such. 5 months later, the commission returns its verdicts to the emperor. 290 are acquitted, 289 are guilty, with 121 judged to be the greatest offenders. A supreme criminal court is formed to carry out sentencing, according to 11 categories of guilt. Devised by Mikhail Speransky, the man the Decembrists had hoped would lead their new government.
No way. Hold.
Those found guilty.
So, wait. What happened? Wait. Did Mikhail Speransky get caught or no? Did he not get caught? Wait. So they're using his ideals to sentence these guys? What? So the guy who's supposed to replace the emperor's government, they're using his ideas to sentence his own rebel. Wow, okay.
Of minor crimes are demoted and sent to fight in Russia's long-running war in the Caucasus, along with the regiments that joined the Decembrists. 31 of the Decembrists found guilty of the most serious crimes: conspiracy, rebellion, desiring the emperor's death, are to be executed by beheading. But Nicholas shows mercy and commutes their sentence to hard labor for life in Siberia.
That is not mercy.
Before they depart, officers are stripped of their rank and noble privileges and ceremonially disgraced. Their greatcoats are burned, their swords snapped in half. This is the punishment handed out to Nikita Muravyov, who drafted the Northern Society's constitution for a new liberal Russia, and to Prince Sergei Trubetskoy, the Decembrists' vanishing leader, whose life is only spared because of his family name. 5 Decembrists will not be spared. Pyotr Kakhovsky, Sergei Muravyov Apostol, Mikhail Bestuzhev-Ryumin, Pavel Pestel, and Kondraty Rylev. A public death for the chief instigators and conspirators will be their lawful revenge for disturbing the public peace, Nicholas writes to members of the commission.
Rip, man. Rip,
All 5 are sentenced to death by quartering, a brutal punishment involving public dismemberment.
Wait, public dismemberment? Public dismemberment? Do they like, when he means dismembered, he means like literally like being like dismembered, like torn apart in the public? Is that's why? Oh, yo, I don't even know what to say. Does that actually mean like they're gonna get torn apart in nah? Yeah, I would just at that point.
God and the sovereign have.
Wait, whoa. YouTube. I think I got to cut that part out. I think I might cut that part out. I might have to edit. Okay, guys, if you reach this part of the video and there's like a little cut, yeah, I said something that I shouldn't have said just now. I don't want YouTube to smite me down, especially because it looks like YouTube is finally unshadow banning me. Let's continue.
Decided my fate. I must die, and die a shameful death.
A very shameful death.
In a final letter to his wife.
What I said is that I will oof myself. I would oof myself. But I said it the bad way.
Pray to God for my soul.
Tactical revolutionary. I'm still trying to read that Russian words, even though I don't know what the Russian words are.
13th July, 1826. Nicholas commutes the sentence to hanging. But the execution of the 5 Decembrists by the ramparts of the Peter and Paul fortress is badly botched. As the men are hanged, ropes break, and 3 men fall to the ground.
Oh, that's terrible.
What a miserable country. They can't even hang us properly, remarks one survivor. Spectators appeal for mercy. According to tradition, a man who survives a hanging should be spared. Instead, more rope is found, and the second time, there is no mistake. More than 80 Decembrists were eventually sent to Siberia. A few were accompanied by their wives, who voluntarily renounced their own noble privileges to be with their husbands.
Shout out to those women. We need more women like this, man. That's the type of chick that we need in 2024, 2025, man. You think a chick today would do that? Hell, nope, bro. Modern women have gotten so bad. Like, oh my god, I'm not even gonna talk about that. All I'm gonna say is we need more women like this. I'm not even gonna, this is supposed to be like a historical reaction channel, so I'm not even gonna talk about that stuff here.
Conditions in Siberia were not as extreme as might be imagined. Their hard labor was mostly farm work. Wealthy prisoners were sent money from home, which they used to buy supplies.
Oh wow, okay.
For active young men, boredom was the greatest enemy. They took up hobbies, played chess, painted. These watercolors were painted by Nikolai Bestuzhev, who on the 14th had led the Imperial Guard sailors to Senate Square. Some formed their own academy, sharing their knowledge and going on to teach local children and set up schools.
Sounds more like retirement rather than an exile.
They remained hopeful of a pardon, but it proved a 30-year wait.
Wow.
Only in 1856,
30
after
years,
the death
man.
of Emperor Nicholas, was an amnesty announced for surviving Decembrists. Among them, Prince Sergei Trubetskoy, who returned to Russia and is seen here, photographed in 1857.
Whoa, that is actually cool. That is really cool. What? Oh, wow. That is so cool. That is really,
The Decembrist
really cool.
uprising seemed to have been a total failure. A wildly optimistic operation, poorly planned, chaotically executed, doomed from the beginning. The loss of life, thoughtless and unnecessary.
Very
But the
unnecessary.
Decembrists had mounted the first organized political revolt in Russian history. As such, their impact would prove far-reaching. The recent conspiracy, wrote the British resident minister in St. Petersburg, failed from want of management and want of a head to direct it, and was too premature to answer any good purpose. But I think the seeds are sown, which one day must produce important consequences. Emperor Nicholas was never interested in reform. The issues of serfdom and a constitution would be around for decades to come.